Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome to Wild Rift patch 3.5b, the last patch of 2022. 2022 has been a bit of a crazy year for Wild Rift. We've had loads of new champions, loads of new runes, loads of crazy plays that we've seen from esports as well. It's been an absolutely crazy year, but as you can see, it is the last patch of the year. Oh dear, I see what they did there. A little bit of a note as well, this patch will last a little longer than our typical balanced patches because, as our friends on PC League mentioned, many of us will be on a right wide break for the end of this December. Don't worry, we'll be back here for patch 4.0 on January 12th. So January 12th is going to be, I don't know if that's the release. Maybe that's the release of patch 4.0. So I'm not too sure if we're going to get the patch notes before that. And obviously, because it's a big patch, it means we will get a patch preview before January 12th. So make sure you mark your calendars. Like I make the same joke there. It's playing us 2022. We'll be back in a zap and can't wait to see you on the Rift again in 2023. I know that's a teaser towards maybe a champion that we might be seeing in 2023. I'm not too sure. There's been a lot of teasers for a lot of champions that are going to be released in 2023. Unfortunately, I don't know too much, but back in a zap makes me think of a champion. Makes me think of one champion that I'm not looking forward to. Anyway, let's get on with the patch. But before we have the new champions in 2023, first we have the release of Lillia. Now, Lillia is going to be released on December 15th, which is actually tonight. So midnight tonight UK time is going to be the release of Lillia. So I'll be showing you all the guides and everything. I'll be showing you all tips and tricks with Lillia. Everything will be happening tonight with Lillia, so make sure you stay tuned for that because I will be showing you everything you need to know about Lillia tonight. She's a really cool AP jungler, and I think she's going to be one of the best junglers I think to play because of, you know, dual stick controls. I think will work really well with Lillia, and I'm really looking forward to playing her tonight and possibly tomorrow as well on stream. We have the Spirit Blossom event as well. The event also begins at midnight tonight, which also probably means the release of the new skins, which will be happening tonight as well. And we also have Snowball Fight, which is a little bit of a fun event for Christmas periods. With some of the, obviously, the Christmas skins that we already have in. It doesn't look like we're not getting any Christmas skins this year, which is kind of unfortunate. But hopefully next year we'll get some more Christmas themed skins. Right, now onto the champion changes. Most of these are pretty much exactly the same as my first look video, but I'll go through all these again and I'll let you know my thoughts of these changes. And I think we'll also read the descriptions as well, because I think reading descriptions maybe gives us a little bit more insight as to why some of these champions are getting nerfed or some of these champions are getting buffed, because sometimes I have a little bit of a hard thinking behind some of these champions. Braum and his marvelous mustache have been overperforming at all levels, so we're trimming his oh my god, somebody's pun stash and load some of his base stats to bring more in line with other supports. Don't worry though, Braum will still want them to be behind him though. So his base damage is going down, his base attack damage and his base armor is going down. Both these are quite interesting. They definitely affect him in the early game a lot, especially the base attack damage, because if you land your first ability and you slow, then you're auto attacking quite a lot, especially to try and get the stacks on his passive. So this just reduces early game, and this also reduces his early game as well. It means he can't walk up and tank as much. So Braum's early game is not going to be as strong as before. I don't think Braum's early game was as strong anyway, in my opinion. Maybe against like some, you know, tanky engaged supports, like, you know, Braum's really good against Nautilus, against Alistar. But I mean, even if you play against Enchanter supports as Braum, then you might have a little bit more of a difficult time. Unless you can easily walk up, easily land your first ability and auto attack, then I can see it being kind of strong against squishy champions. So interesting nerf for Braum. I still think he'll be in a fine spot. I don't think, like I said, I don't think he was that strong anyway, but I still think he'll be in a relatively fine spot. Dr. Mundo is an interesting one. Mundo truly goes where he pleases, and with more monster damage on an infected bone saw. Sorry. It looks like he's heading towards the jungle. We made sure to give Baron Lane some tune-ups as well and lowered the cooldown of his Zapper Heart. So the monster damage is an interesting one. The monster damage is to the first ability, so damage monster cap. Monster cap has gone from 125 to 250, and it goes all the way up to 550 now. So maybe the monster damage now on Mundo makes Mundo viable in the jungle, which I think is quite interesting, because the problem is with Dr. Mundo is that I don't think he's normally the best in the jungle, especially because of the rework that happened to his kit. I don't think his kit is a very viable at all in the jungle, but maybe we'll have to give this a try, and maybe we'll have to see if Dr. Mundo can be viable back in the jungle. And with the hard zapper cooldown going down by 3 seconds in the early game, it means you can use this to do a little bit more damage in the jungle as well. And also this helps you with the later phase Dr. Mundo as well. It means you can walk up, you can heal a lot, and also you can deal a little bit more damage. So I think these changes are going to be very, very interesting. Garen, the only real change that I've seen from the first look to the patch notes is the outer edge critical multiplier. So this was on the first look just put up as 125 to 135, but as you can see, it scales with every single level, so it can go up to 150% of your critical multiplier. Now, as I said before, I don't think crit Garen is the way to go. I think Hullbreaker, Black Cleaver, and kind of Bruiser tank Garen is the way to go. But maybe you could give crit Garen a try and let me know what you think. Since the last changes, Garen has significantly fallen off in higher levels of play. We're going to give him Golden Boy some justice, revert judgment, damage nerf, and increase the crit multiplier on it, so you'll be rewarded more for your skillful plays or crit plays. So yeah, the base damage is going up. The total damage for all ticks is also going up. This is normally the ability that you max first as well, so I think this is going to make things very, very interesting for Garen. And then you also have the critical multiplier, as I mentioned, is also going up. I definitely have to give Garen a try again, because I've been playing a lot of Malphite in the Baron lane. That's kind of my go-to Baron laner if I ever get into any trouble. But I might have to pick up Garen again and see what he's saying. Kassadin, the base damage is going up on the first ability, and also the cooldown is going down. This helps Kassadin a lot during the laning phase. While Kassadin can be frustrated to play against, his win rates have been on the lower side, so we're lending him a helping hand and giving him some abilities a boost to make sure he doesn't get lost in the void. So yeah, this helps him a lot in the early game. I mean, obviously the scaling is quite nice for late game as well, but I think 10 damage in the late game is not going to mean too much. But I think the cooldown and also the early game base damage is going to be a lot to help him in the early game, to make him so he can trade a lot better in the early game, and also he can deal more damage to minions with his first ability, so he can just sit back, farm up, and scale up once he gets, you know, items like Rod of Ages, Seraph Embrace, and all these items. Kayn, blue form Kayn finally gets the buff that we kind of wanted for a long time. Even after the adjustments, you could say that Shadow Cast's Kayn is feeling a bit blue. Yeah, I mean, a bit more than blue, that's for sure. So we're increasing his burst potential with his passive, and also speeding up Blade's reach. We feel that his ability still feels weaker, especially when compared to Slayer's Kayn. That's very, very true. So we're hoping to speed up fits Shadow Assassin's theme of quick strikes. Totally agree. I mean, I think the blue form Kayn is a lot weaker than red form Kayn, so I'm really excited that they're actually buffing the overall damage, so the bonus damage you get from getting Assassin Kayn, and then also they're reducing the cast time, which means that you can use other abilities while the second ability is, you know, basically going off at the same time. So you have a shorter time now, and a shorter time really to react to the Blade's Reach, the second ability. And also with the second ability, when you cast this ability, you don't get stopped like you do with red form or normal form. So it means you can use other abilities straight afterwards. So again, Kayn is another champion, and blue form Kayn is another champion that I'm definitely going to have to give a try again, because I enjoyed it a lot, but I just didn't really feel the burst damage. But I feel like blue form Kayn can be very, very strong. Nunu, a bunch of AP buffs with Nunu. Increase the ratios across Nunu's kit, so you can start saying yes to those more diverse builds rather than no. Yes, no. Little thing with Willump and Nunu. So the consume healing ability power ratio has gone up by 10%, so it means you're going to get more healing. The snowball barrage is going up as well. The AP ratio per snowball is going up, and that means the maximum snowball AP ratio is going up by a whopping, like, what's that, 17%? Like, if you can land all of your snowballs, you're going to be doing a lot of AP damage, like a lot of AP damage. So we'll definitely have to give hybrid Nunu a try, like this AP tank Nunu build, to see what it's like. And then also the shield ratio as well on the ultimate is also going up with the AP ratio. So maybe a build like Rod of Ages into kind of hybrid Nunu build could be very, very good now, because you get a lot of stats from Rod of Ages. And then you could build maybe into tank afterwards if you want to. You can kind of go for like this hybrid AP tank build. We'll definitely have to give that a try and see what we can do with the Mundo with Nunu, sorry, in the jungle, because I think Nunu's going to be quite strong because of the way the jungle works now. And Nunu is a perfect ganking jungler. You don't have to farm the jungle as much. So I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how Nunu fits himself in the build, especially as an AP jungler as well, which is always quite nice, especially with the release of Lillia. Pantheon has been falling out the meta for quite some time. We're increasing the early cooldown Pantheon Ages of Soul to help him out during the early laning phase and those first few jungle clears. Also buffing his ultimate, giving it more armor penetration so they can make a grand entrance even in the later stages of the game. So yeah, cooldown in the early game for the third ability. I think this is more of a buff to laning phase more than jungle. I don't think you use your third ability that much in the jungle. I think the ultimate is quite nice. More armor penetration means that you can jump on, you know, an enemy backline carry. And also the armor penetration means that you're going to just deal more damage with your auto attacks and your other abilities. So I think that's quite nice. I don't think this does too much to Pantheon jungle though. I'll be totally honest with you. This might help you a little bit, but I don't think Pantheon jungle gets really a buff from this. I think this helps you a lot more in the laning phase because it means you can walk up and trade more in the Baron lane. So it'd be quite interesting to see if Pantheon slots himself back into the meta, but I think Pantheon has been out of the meta for quite some time now. Rakan got a little bit of a nerf. Increased movement speed when hitting an enemy champion got nerfed, but on street is that Rakan is a little too good at starting the party, particularly in higher levels of play. They're looking at you, Heste. So we're slightly reducing the amount of movement speed he gains when he charms foes with his ultimate. So yeah, I mean, high levels of play, I guess that means in competitive play. I mean, one player in Europe that plays Rakan to a T, to be fair, like perfectly, is Heste. So maybe looking towards Heste when it's like, oh, particularly in higher levels of play. See what it did there. See what it did. I mean, I'm guessing they're not, but it's still quite funny. So yeah, increased movement speed when hitting enemy has gone from 100% down to 75%. I don't think this will mean too much, to be honest with you, because with Rakan, you mostly go Protobell. You have your second ability as well to catch up with enemies. So this just makes it so you don't need to waste your Protobell, or you don't need to waste your second ability. So now to get further into the back line, you might need to use your Protobell or use your second ability to try and charm them. But I think Rakan will still be in a perfect spot. I think Rakan is a very, very strong jungler support at the moment. Riven is getting some little bit of adjustments. Riven's been menacing high levels of play, but also still struggling to find her footing in other levels of play. I mean, higher levels of play is because Riven is a very, very difficult champion to play. Like, you need to understand, like, when you use an ability, you need to auto attack in between. You need to know when to jump in, when to jump out, how to jump over walls. So it makes sense because Riven is a high skill champion. So it makes sense that high levels of play, she's doing good, but other levels she's struggling. Since our previous attempt to reduce the defenses her ability grants her and increases her passive defenses, we're effective at reducing this gap. We're going back for round 3. Round 3 of them reducing the shield ratio again. So yeah, the Valor shield ratio, or the shield attack damage ratio, has gone down from 100 to 90%, and then the armor per level and the health regeneration has gone up. So this helps her a little bit scaling wise. But again, the shield damage ratio going down is pretty big because you build quite a lot of AD on Riven. You know, Black Cleaver, Divine Sunderer, Steris Gauge is not really that much. Death's Dance as well has a lot of AD, so maybe you might feel this effect a little bit. But I still think Riven will be in a fine slot. I still think Riven is very, very good. Some Aram changes. Interesting thing to know about Aram changes. I haven't mentioned this before, but what they do in the WRL, so it's a Wild Rift China League at the moment, is that they actually play an Aram to decide the side selection for game number 1. So to make it fair, they play a brawling 20-minute Aram game. The competitive teams, by the way, like, these are high-level competitive teams, probably the best teams in the world right now in Wild Rift. So they play an Aram to start things off, and then whoever wins that Aram decides whether they go on blue side or red side for game number 1. Mind-blowing. So I think the funny thing is that these changes are actually pretty impactful for them now. They're actually pretty impactful for China, because if they want to get side selection, then they need to know these changes to make sure that they know what champions to pick up, you know, at what times. Even if it is random, you still have loads of selection. So I think it's quite interesting to note there. Gameplay changes, right? There's a few gameplay changes. I think the thing to Giant Slayer is quite interesting. So Giant Slayer has been coming online too quickly, which is kind of expected, because 500 bonus health is like Black Cleaver, Divine Thunder, that's all you need. But it's hard to see and appreciate its power when it is finally activated on the line. So scaling back the condition so that it only triggers on champions, building durability and also increasing the effectiveness. Yes, I kind of understand on champions building durability, because 700 bonus health is quite a lot. You need to build a lot of maximum health. The thing is that, again, bruisers build Divine Thunder, Black Cleaver, which already gives you quite a lot of bonus health. And then all you need to do is build one more health item after that. So like Steric's Gauge, for example. Steric's Gauge is a go-to item on most bruisers, and that will give you your 700 bonus health. That means you deal 14% damage now. I don't think this will be used on AD carries. I still think that this Hunter Vampirism will be the best option, but maybe we'll have to give this a try to see if we are against tanky compositions, to see if it's worth going for the extra bonus health damage on Giant Slayer. Sudden Impact is getting a little bit of increase. It's interesting here that they say it's hopeful that they broaden its audience by increasing duration of the buff, so champions will with single dashes can get more use out of it. That's quite interesting. So I guess they're fine with champions that have a lot of dashes. So champions maybe like Zed, Kha'Zix, trying to think of another champion that has a lot of dashes. Fizz as well is another champion. I guess they're fine with all of that. But the problem is that I can't really think of champions that have a dash that's on a short period of time. Riven's another one that has a lot of dashes. Can't think of a champion that has a dash that has a long duration that you would want to get armor and magic penetration that would last longer. I think this just benefits champions that can just spam dash more often, because you're buffing the armor and magic penetration and you're also increasing the duration. So quite interesting. Very, very interesting. Let me know if there's some champions that you think of that has a dash that's on a longer cooldown that might benefit from the armor magic penetration. Maybe I'll have to try it out in the next patch. And then we have Pathfinder. Pathfinder's getting a little bit of a buff. I don't think this means too much. Pathfinder's been a bit weak after release. I mean, it will still be weak, so we're buffing the regeneration. So it grants to make it more noticeable. I don't think this changes anything. I still think the rune sucks. I don't think the rune's gonna be very good. New skins. So it looks like all these skins will be releasing as well. Oh my god, it also got Frostbade Irelia releasing as well on the 15th. Wow, there's gonna be a lot of skins for us to play. I did try out the Chroma Crash skins. I'll probably be releasing videos on them very, very soon. To give you all a look at some of them skins, and I'll probably be getting these skins as well to give them a try. You know, Thresh, Yone, Yasuo, Irelia. I think all of these skins are very, very cool, and I'm very excited to see them finally come into Wild Rift. We also got some cool accessories. This Teemo icon, by the way, is super cute. I mean, the Lillia one's super cute as well. You got like a Poro one here as well. You got some little baubles, the recall, the boost as well. All these Poro ones are so cute. The little Teemo one as well, where he's so angry. Oh, I love Teemo. I hate Teemo, but I love Teemo at the same time. But yeah, he's very, very cute. So some new things that are coming in the most recent patch, and there are your free to play champions. So yeah, that's everything for patch 3.5b. As it mentions, it's the last patch of the year, so it's probably going to be a bit longer patch. So next time you're going to be seeing me with patch notes, it's going to be patch 4.0, which I'm very, very excited about. Hopefully there's going to be some very, very interesting changes to the game. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you all. See you all in the next Wild Rift video. That will be Lillia coming out tonight. Make sure you stay tuned for that, because I'll be showing you everything you need to know about Lillia. Stay tuned. Take care. Peace.